Welcome to Career Tipper Podcast, hosted by Michelle Beatty. The Career Tipper Podcast is a motivational resource that shares career and entrepreneurial tips by industry experts that will help amazing people evolve to their professional best. And now your host, Michelle Beatty.
Episode 4 of the Career Tipper Podcast features financial literacy coach Cassendra Cadeau. Cassendra is the creator of Gifted Financials. The mission of Gifted Financials is to partner with clients to create a customized strategy that provides financial stability for their family and building a lasting legacy. I'm your host, Michelle Beatty, career confidence author and coach. Welcome to the Career Podcast. Hi, Cassendra. How you doing?
Hey, Michelle. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here today.
Oh, you are so welcome. I know without a doubt this is going to be an amazing, mind-shifting interview for at least 2 listeners.
So excited.
Yes. I'm just like, let's go. Okay, so I first want to find out, what was your path to becoming a financial literacy coach?
Okay. Me becoming a coach, I honestly never thought I would end up here as a coach. But given my history with my studies in school, I'm not too surprised because I really love numbers and I was always great, a great student in the math and so forth. But I fell into corporate finance and was doing very well in there. And the funny part of that is that although I was managing the corporation's money and managing their receivables and all of that, my personal finance at home was a mess. And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom financially, I realized, Cassendra, you can simply apply what you know and do for a living to your money at home. And in hindsight, after I got past it, I realized that due to the emotions of whatever it was that was happening in my personal life, it really hindered me and kept me from seeing that a lot sooner. And so once I pushed past that and found myself in a better place financially, I also realized that there are a lot of women that were in that same place with you and that you can, pay it forward and help them out as well. And so I just started and eventually became this coach and decided that I'm going to make it official and start Gifted Financials. And that's what I did.
I love it. I think that's great. You're not keeping your lessons to yourself.
Definitely.
I think that's
definitely
great.
Wasn't. And it's been a great move for me ever since.
Well, I've seen you. I mean, you can mesmerize a room because I feel that when you speak about legacy, which I'm a huge advocate of, I'm always asking my clients and followers and listeners, like, what is your legacy? What is your footprint beyond your job, beyond being a daughter? Like, what is it for you? Like, what is it? And, and how are you going to create that? And, people are learning more and more. Some already know, you can't just expect someone to pop out the air and say, here's $1 million for you. Like, you got to work. You got to work and be smart about your money.
Definitely.
So what is like financial literacy? Because I know that not everyone understands it. It could be, they understand it, but being a coach, what is your definition of financial literacy?
Well, the term itself, it's having the knowledge of knowing how to manage your money, understanding your money, how you make it, how you spend it, how you, save it, invest it, everything, all things money for you and your family. And so for me personally, how I transfer that education to my clients is their financial literacy is understanding what their needs are of their money, what relationship they should have with their money to fulfill those needs and fulfill those financial goals that they have. And we all have financial goals, but sometimes it's difficult to identify what they are. And even if we do, we don't know how to attain them. And so that financial literacy is simply the awareness of that money and learning how to manage it.
Now let's break it down even further. What do you define as a need, as a want, and as a goal financially?
That is a great question. A need for me a need simply is your basic needs in terms of your need to eat, your need to, to have a roof over your head. Our society have come to have a need for cell phones now because, in terms of technology, we transition over. So there are some expenses in our lives where we have a need and we have to make sure that our money and our finances can cover those needs. Unfortunately, what gets in the way of us fulfilling those needs is giving into our wants. I want those pair of shoes. I want to go out and drink. I want to go party. I want to take that trip, even though I know that I won't have enough to cover my rent when I come back. Those wants and desires that we have get in the way of fulfilling our goals with our money. Now, what are our goals? Our goals is to obtain what we don't currently have with our money, to get ourselves to the level of where we want to be, but are not quite there yet. And so between where we are paying and covering what our needs are, we also have a plan in place behind the scenes to upgrade and make it to that goal. And so those are three different areas, and you can, all three can exist even in the journey of fulfilling a financial goal, but there has to be a very healthy balance where you're prioritizing the needs and the needs of the goal before you give in to the wants, because it's the wants that are really getting us in trouble with being financially healthy.
I hear you.
Exhale.
The song of so many. Now, I want to take it a step further, because one thing being a career coach and just interacting with people and, helping them prepare for interviews, finding out how they're perceived when they're going through an assessment to be considered for a position, is how their credit score can impact their career, just immediately and long term, and their mindset and how that affects them. So from your perspective, how can your credit score impact your career?
It can impact it a great deal. A large majority of employers are including a credit check as part of the background check when they are looking into a new candidate. And so the number one reason would be if your position is related to managing the company's, cash on hand, or if you're in the financial industry of some sorts. And so they want to make sure that you're not you're not managing your money in risky behavior, or don't have any negative notes in your personal history that can transfer over to making you a risk to be, to do anything with their money and be a liability to them. And some might think, oh no, I don't work in the financial industry. I'm fine, but you're not exempt, because a lot of positions offer lines of credit through a company credit card, or you have access to the company's funds to order supplies and have certain managerial roles where you're not actually touching the company's money, but you do influence the expenses of the company. And so they need individuals that they can trust, individuals that are responsible with money to begin with, in order to effectively do their job and not take advantage of the privileges that they have at the job. And simply overall, let's just say you didn't fit into any one of those categories. The way you manage your money on, your credit, the way that it reflects, it shows on your character as a person. If you're at risk, if you have that discipline to make your payments on time, if you have that discipline to not max out your credit and so forth. A lot can be said by looking at your credit score, or even going in a little bit deeper and looking at the details of how many times you're late, if it's 30 versus 90 versus 120 days. And so it does impact a lot. And even when you do have the job, some people are at risk of not getting promotions because once you sign off that waiver for them to be able to check your credit, they have access to do so, and you might be at risk for promotion or not as high of a promotion based on what's happening in those areas, for taking on more responsibility in your company. So it does affect it quite a bit, and I don't think enough people realize that or are aware that sometimes when they're being passed up for opportunities, it has to do with what's happening in your personal finances.
Thank you for that share. I think it is a worthy share, so thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let's talk about lifestyles. A lot of people manage their lifestyle off of one income. I know that if you're married, a lot of people say that it's good to save off of one income and live off the other, but not everyone's able to do that. Whether you have multiple streams of income, or if not, even if you're not married, some people have multiple streams of income. One is for saving, one is for living, but there are a lot of people that are living off of one income. So why is it important for professionals in different industries and stages of their career to have multiple streams of income?
It's very important. We live in a society where having multiple streams, it used to be a luxury. Like, having a good sturdy job was the thing, and you were good. But in time, as we know today, jobs are not secure anymore. There's no guarantee, and it can start from the high up as the CEO, CFO, top positions of the company, to just an entry level job. Everyone is at risk to being employed today and unemployed tomorrow, and so having several streams of income has become a true necessity. And if you do not have one, if you're living on just one income, or if you're a two-income family and you just have those two incomes, you are living at risk because anything can happen. Health conditions can happen that can cause you to not work fully or at all. You can lose the partner, like the partner can be deceased and you lose that income altogether. Or you can come in today and they're giving you that pink slip, like they're laying off people left and right, as the economy goes up and down. And so the importance of having those streams of incomes, it gives you options. If things aren't working out in your 9 to 5, you at least have an option to fall back on something else that already is. Or even if everything is peachy keen in your 9 to 5, your extra streams of income can help finance some other endeavors and passions and things that can really maximize your way of living, your lifestyle, the quality of life that you have. On so many levels, the multiple streams of income is the way to go. And I'm happy to see that many people are jumping on that wave and realizing it and doing it more. But I don't think enough of us are aware of the importance to really act now and get those streams of incomes coming in.
Well, it takes time, especially if you're going to go from an entrepreneurial standpoint. It takes time to create your systems and your processes and understand your brand and develop your brand. But if you're going to work a 9 to 5 or work for someone else as a consultant or an employee, the transition might not be full of as many lessons.
Definitely. Definitely. And I know. I know. And what's great about the process, though, is that just the fact that you have that opportunity to do it, it's just amazing how we live in a way where we can venture off and start something of our own and start building and creating our legacy and using one stream to finance and get another stream going, because it just becomes a cycle. Like once you complete one, you can start bringing in the next and start fueling into all these different streams to the point where you're at that level of building wealth. And that's the ideal goal I think everyone should have, a goal of where you are actually building wealth.
I think that's a fabulous goal. Fabulous goal. How should professionals work to accomplish their next level of professional best view their financial status?
You always want to make sure that your efforts in your professional best, I should say, you want to make sure that your efforts are very much in line with your compensation. And what I mean by that is just being aware of what you're putting into the job, what your functions are, and understanding what you want to get out of it. And some people, it may be compensation of the bottom line dollar, or it may be certain benefits and privileges that you want. But you always want to be aware of where is it you are now and where you want to go, and if that employment, that place of employment, can get that for you, or that career path that you're going for can get it. But at the end of the day, if you don't sit back and be conscious of what it is you're going after and know your own worth and your own value, you'll never reach to the point of where you want to be. You have to envision it and have it in clear sight, and set your goals to work towards that.
I agree. Goals are everything. Okay, Cassendra, let's talk about money mindset. Like, how can the money mindset impact the career choices that people make, good or bad? Like, I know I am consistently working with people to look at themselves. Sometimes I will have communications with people that encourage them to look beyond them being an hourly worker or a salary worker, content with the fact that they have a salary, but all their eggs are in one basket. And I'm like, guys, eggs in one basket isn't always the best thing. It can be safe. Safety is great, but it could be your anchor while, like you were just saying earlier, you bridge out to create other streams of income, or you just realize you can make a different career choice, or start the process to prepare to make a different career choice that's better for you, be it time, be it financial, or just be it the experience that's going to take you to the next level within a time frame that one might want to accomplish. So from your perspective, what's the money mindset that people should have, good or bad?
I really think that the money mindset, number one, is very key, because in your career choices, it's not enough to just know what to do. You have to enter it with the right mindset. And when you have that money mindset in place, in terms of the mindset that you have when you're thinking about money, when you're managing your money, and being able to transfer that into your career choices, it makes a big difference. For example, if you have that money mindset of being a negotiator, you're walking in and you're negotiating for the best deal for the car, or the best deal for the final price on a home or something. That negotiating skill can be very beneficial to you when you're stepping into an opportunity where you're negotiating for a benefits package, for a position that you're going after. It makes the difference between you desperately grabbing the first offer that comes to you versus sitting back and negotiating, and it resulting into hundreds of thousands of dollars in your lifetime of income. And so the money mindsets that you do have in your finances, it will transfer in so many other areas of your life, especially in your career.
I think that's important. Thank you, because I always want people to go to their next level professional best. But one thing that also frustrates me is when people sell themselves short just within themselves, like they won't apply or they won't go for it, and they don't even realize that sometimes it's a money mindset. Like, well, I make X amount of dollars and my bills are paid. I'm like, but what about transitioning past paycheck to paycheck? Like, pay your car insurance off in one swipe. Like, don't sign up for the monthly payment. So that's just one small example, but positioning yourself financially and having that mindset, it shifts you to look for something that you can do something like that, which is a need. You need car insurance if you drive.
Definitely. And that example, that example is something that I coach my clients through often, because there are some expenses, just like you said, the car note or the car insurance. There are expenses that we have that are part of the need category. And if you follow the trend of, like, if you pull out your utility bill, for example, and you can see the peaks, like what months your electric bill is the highest or the lowest, or the average over 6 months, or the average over a year. When we get that, bonus, or those tax returns, or that influx of cash, wherever it comes from, why not pay 6 months worth of utilities, if not the whole year? I mean, we know our cell phone bill is fixed at whatever price it is right now. Why not knock out the whole year of your cell phone bill and know that that's just one less expense that you don't have to worry about, and you can be free to use your energy and your funds towards something else throughout the year.
So true. It's just the little things that when it comes, it's amazing how that just frees you up to do something, one little thing, or that you wanted to do, or a major thing. You have that savings to take the vacation, see the friend, extend a trip, or just treat yourself to a spa, something that will benefit your health, or invest more in a certain vitamin or something. I don't know. Just different things.
Definitely. Yeah, that too.
So since we're talking about creating a habit that you might not have or you might need to get back to, what are the benefits of having money habits? What do you feel are benefits of having money habits?
Money habits simply relieves the stress. It just relieves the stress altogether. You're doing it in your sleep. You have the habit. Your body, your mind, your money starts just working and moving for itself. When you already know that every month I'm saving that $5 or the $25 or the $100, you just know that $100 is being put where it needs to be put, and it's feeding into that goal, whether it's paying off that credit card a lot quicker or going to the college fund. When you create the habits and it's in place, it's like having a system set for your finances where you can just put it in place and be at peace. You can just be at financial peace and start building towards those goals. And I'm all for the habits. And habits are, you apply it to so many areas, whether it's your health habits, your eating habits, all of these things. And your money habits are no different. Once you are plugged into it and you have it going, it relieves all the stress, and that's one less thing you have to worry about if your money habits are good. The key word is if their habits are good.
Well, yeah, and I know that you share the strategy of saving, like the snowball saving for every week of the year, but what are some other things that people can do that can help them create a habit or go back to a habit or take a money habit to the next level? What does that look like?
One of my favorite skills that I try to get my clients on in terms of creating habits is automating your finances. A lot of us hate that B word, budgeting, and so it becomes a struggle to sit down and actually do a budget every month or every week or every pay cycle. And so I try to get my clients to sit down and do that budget that one time and then go ahead and automate it. And what that would look like for them is, if you know this bank account needs a certain amount of money in it every month to pay off X, Y, and Z, go ahead to your payroll department and tell them, look, I need you to deposit $700 every payroll into that account for me. And once that money is in the account, you have already plugged in all those key bills that you had set up, and you tell your online banking, every payroll on this date, once this money is deposited, go ahead and send 100 there, 25 there, 50 there. Let your money and the systems that are in place for you do all the work. And at that point, once all your systems are in place, the only time you have to go back and edit anything is if something changes, is if maybe you didn't work as many hours, or maybe, you cut back on the overtime and your rate is a little bit different, or maybe your expenses change, or maybe you finally paid off that credit card. So now I got to go in the system and say, don't send that money anymore. But automation for me has been a godsend, because I honestly don't ever worry about, when is something due and did I forget to pay it, because it's already set up. I set it like months ago, and it's just good to go. The only thing that I advise people to do when it comes to automation is don't forget that the automation exists. You want to periodically make sure you're checking on these accounts. You want to open up those statements. You want to go online and make sure that these vendors are getting the money that you're sending them. You want to make sure that the system you have in place are working. They're getting their money on time so that you don't incur any late fees. But automation in your finances, that's the way to go.
Well, thank you. That's a great tip. Automation is a great, because then you're taking the reminder. You're not going to miss a beat. It's already going for you.
Exactly.
Now, Cassendra, I am a huge advocate of professional development. I'm all about taking ownership of your professional development. Well, I don't like it when I hear different professionals say, well, my company didn't do this for me, or my company didn't do that. The workforce has changed, and things of the perceptions of the past of how companies should treat you has evolved into a different purview, right? So I often encourage people to invest in themselves. Like, don't wait for someone to do it for you. And it's amazing what opportunities come your way after people have seen you invest in yourself, how the resources and support show up. So how do you feel professionals should address if they have a perceived money challenge, or just a fear challenge, or that's not my focus right now? Anything that could be preventing them from investing in their professional development or training to advance in their choice of career, how do you feel they should address it to maybe see that it's a worthy investment that they need to do?
I would always advise them to not give in to the fact that I can't afford it or I won't be able to obtain it because of the dollar sign. Invest on your level. If that's where you have to start, invest on your level. An investment does not have to exceed what you're able to do. You can invest on the free level. You can invest on, Googling and YouTubing. You can invest on going to the public library, because pretty much a majority of those big wig authors that are out there educating and teaching us and charging people hundreds and thousands of dollars, they have books. They have books that you can buy from the Barnes & Noble, or you can walk into the public library with your library card and borrow it for free. Get on the podcast. Get on the audios. I can invest hundreds of $1,000s in a coach, or I can opt to listen to their podcast, or purchase a $100 program that'll help me with this aspect of my finances or this aspect of my life. And so I'd never want anyone to feel intimidated or feel defeated because money is a challenge, because you can invest on any level that you're at and find the information that you need. Aside from investing in a product, invest in the time that you're spending with the people that are doing what you want to do. If someone is living the life that you want to live, invest your time in asking them a question. Invest your time in clicking the follow button and being available and live when they're present. Invest in trying to figure out where are the movers and shakers hanging out that are doing the things that I want to do, so I make sure I'm there, or I can save money for next year's event or whatever it is. Whenever there's a will, I always say there's a way. There's always a way to obtain that goal, that financial goal, or that financial investment that you need to make. And the bottom line cost should never be an excuse. It might delay you, but it should never keep you from obtaining what it is that you're hungry to learn, what you're hungry to put back into yourself.
It makes a difference, and it's a game changer. So I agree. with starting. I do. I know one time I interviewed a celebrity makeup artist, Nicole Morrow Pettis, and she was saying how, not all the young makeup artists that come work under her always are able to go to different trainings, even though it's provided. at their place of work. It is provided, but just making sure that they sharpen their skills. And she's like, they go to YouTube University. And I just, for whatever reason, that tickled me because I never thought of YouTube as a university. But
I know that's right.
but there was truth in what she was saying in regards to it is a wealth of knowledge. You can find out how to do some of everything on YouTube. So
yeah.
It's so amazing. I'm like, yep, people just have to shift how they look to seek information because it's out there and you can start small, whatever that may be for you, and then grow if you're not able to invest in a coach. There's always, people are always looking for ways to connect with people via email. So there's newsletters people can sign up for. And like you said, podcasts, listening right now, there's some nuggets that you can get that can definitely put you on that track.
Definitely. And I personally know several women in my circle that are being mentored by these people that they would love to work with, but can't afford. But these coaches see something in these people that are genuinely seeking and hungry for the information. And mentorship is real. It is real out there where you build a genuine relationship with someone where as long as you're doing the work and you're showing them that you are in this to make this happen, to learn and to absorb whatever it is that they have to offer, just position yourself to be open to receive all of that. And it all really starts with that mindset. What I just explained is all a part of that money mindset. If you approach it already defeated in your mind that I will never obtain X, Y, and Z because I don't have enough money, you'll always stay in that place. But if you push past that and believe that despite me making minimum wage or despite me being thousands and hundreds of dollars in debt, I'm going to get past this, you will. You're going to find every avenue to make that happen.
Yes, you will. I totally agree with that one. Do you have a money mindset formula or a gifted financial formula that you encourage your clients to follow?
A formula as far as what exactly?
Just things to keep in mind, or a task list, or focus.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm big on having my clients track their progress because the victories are found when you're able to look back at where you've been and where you are now compared to where you're trying to go. And so tracking for me is a major win. We celebrate, how much we've paid off thus far. We celebrate, the balances that are decreasing, the accounts that are increasing, the savings accounts that are growing, the investment accounts. We celebrate the wins. And so tracking the fact that this year I'm able to vacation with my children versus last year I wasn't able to do it, that's a financial win. That means somewhere in the mix, you were able to get everything taken care of and still go on vacation. You didn't have to go without. And so I provide a lot of tools so that my clients are able to track and keep the momentum going, because when you don't track, you can easily fall in the rut of, okay, I'm throwing money in this, to pay off this card, and I'm making all these sacrifices to get out of this situation I'm in, but I don't see the progress. And sometimes the progress is in looking back and comparing it to where you're standing right now. So tracking is a major tool that I incorporate with my clients.
I think it's great. Cassendra, I appreciate you being a guest on the Career Tipper podcast. Thank you so much for your time. Please share a favorite quote or affirmation that keeps you creating career tipping moments.
First of all, thank you again for having me here. I would have to say that one of my quotes or affirmation would be to always be a student for as long as you can, because in that spirit, you're learning. You're still learning. So be a student for as long as you can. because there's always something to learn. And as long as you're in that student stage, you're always open to receive knowledge and to grow and to be open for the next step, for that next level.
Love it. Student mode. Continue with, no matter the age.
Yes. I mean, as long as you're breathing, I mean, there's always something to learn. Every day there's something that you're going to pick up on.
It's true. Everyone you meet will know something that you don't know. So embrace it and learn.
Yes, ma'am.
How can my listeners get in touch with you?
Your listeners can find me on all the major platforms at Cassendra Cadeau, and even my website, CassendraCadeau.com. Facebook, Instagram, Periscope. You can find me on all those platforms.
Okay, awesome. And you can find me, Michelle Beatty, at CareerTipper.com and on Instagram at CareerTipper, and join our mailing list at CareerTipper.com to find out upcoming guests and amazing career tips. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Career Tipper Podcast. We're grateful for our listeners and guests. For more resources about how to evolve to your professional best, share your comments and feedback about this episode and your suggestions for future guests, visit CareerTipper.com. Until next time, be confidently you.